Hello and welcome to another episode of Tiva Drive, and this time around we are driving another 7 Series, except this time around we are driving a plug-in hybrid instead of a full electric. So you may know, but if not, we'll tell you that the pure electric 7 Series is available in 2 flavors, and the plug-in hybrid is also available in 2 different flavors. So this particular one is the 750e. We also have another version which is above this, which is the 760e, which is more powerful. So this one here comes with 483 horsepower. The 760e is more powerful with well over 500 horsepower. The battery in this one and in both these plug-in hybrid 7 Series is about 14.4 kilowatt hours. So when we're comparing it with the Mercedes S580, you will know that the Mercedes has almost double the size of the battery because it's 29 gross, about 25 net. Somebody is driving a very noisy car here, so apologies for that. Okay, so basically you have these 2 plug-in hybrid versions, the 750e, which is this one here, starting at around 140,000 plus options. As you see it here, it's about 158, and then the 760 starts at around 160. So basically the 760 and the i760 are priced virtually the same, around the 160 level. The Mercedes S580 that we drove and we're comparing it with is actually priced around the 160 mark, so it would be more compatible with the 760e version of this car. However, I'm glad that we're getting to drive this bottom of the line version, the 750e, the base model of the plug-in hybrid BMW. So the nice thing is that in the BMW you have a choice of 2 plug-in hybrid 7 Series and 2 full electric 7 Series. In Europe there's a third one down below, which is the i750 e-drive, but we don't get it here in North America. So you have a choice of 2 plug-in hybrids and 2 full electric BMWs, where the Mercedes has basically just 1 plug-in hybrid, the S580 that we drove recently, and then you have of course the whole range of EQS Mercedes. You have the 450 and 580, etc., etc. So BMW wins on that front. More choices. As you can see here, beautiful LEDs. They are basically the same. It's almost undistinguishable from the i7. This is the real grille versus the fake grille on the i7, but other than that, those cars look virtually identical. You have the beautiful either LED or laser lights here in front. You also have the backlit grille, which is kind of very, very neat. You can see it here. To me, I have an issue with the 7 Series design with this particular headlight set. It's basically indented into the body, so in the winter snow and ice will cover it up and you won't be able to see much, and there's no heating, there is no cleaning for the headlights. So a lot of owners complained that in the winter this gets filled with snow and ice and you have to keep stopping to clean the headlights, because as you know, the LEDs and the laser lights don't heat up much. So that's kind of just a design issue. So perhaps in future updates they're gonna make it flush with the body, so, or equip it with either heating or with washers, or maybe even with wipers. As you know, some manufacturers like Volvo had wipers on the headlights. Okay, so that's about it. Let's keep walking around. This car here is equipped with 21-inch staggered wheels, 255 front, 285 rear, beautiful 21-inch rims. The charge port is here, which is different than the i7. So the plug-in hybrids get their charge ports in the front, only level 2. The Mercedes has advantage of having an optional level 3 charging up to 60 kilowatts. This one here charges up to 7 kilowatts, Mercedes up to 10 kilowatts on the level 2. Then plus Mercedes for $600 you get a level 3 option up to 60 kilowatts. Here BMW does not offer level 3 option charging. This is kind of it's called a black color, but in in the bright sunshine, this actually looks navy blue. A lot of chrome trim, which the ladies in our family love very much. Quickly, we're gonna show you the interior space, even though you can check it out in our i7 video. We're just gonna point out the differences. So here you go. The car is not on, so when you turn it on, the seat will move forward. Actually, the seat won't move forward until you close the door. So right now it's in the pulled back, position. Okay, so basically this is not my position because the doors are open. We cannot show you my position, because the seat only moves into position when the door is closed. So right now it's much further back. This is the access position. And similarly with the steering wheel, the wheel is up. When you close the door and start the car, the wheel goes down into the position and your seat moves forward to your driving position. So it won't be a fair comparison of the back seat space, but it's going to be good for you to actually see, and then we'll point out the differences with the i7 that we drove recently. Here's the back seat. So even with the driver's seat pulled back for the access position, you can see lots of room here for the passengers, as it should be the case with the flagship sedan from the BMW or the S-Class from Mercedes. You have these vents here on the B pillar as well as the center console. You have the beautiful cup holders here and lots of storage for the passengers. Let's see how this goes. There's something that comes out, right? Okay, there you go. And so there's your cup holders. The difference with the i7 that we drove, you still have the fixed glass sunroof with a blind that is stored in the front. It actually closes towards the rear. You do not have the huge screen coming down from the ceiling, and you also don't have the adjustable rear seats with the lounge seating on the right hand side where the front passenger seat goes forward and you have a kind of almost a bed that stretches, and you can adjust the position of the rear seats. Here the seats are fixed in the back. You do have heating in the back, but you don't have cooling and you don't have the massage. The front seats do have heating, cooling and massage here in this 750e. And finally, let's show you the trunk space. And again, we can compare it with the Mercedes. So the lights are exactly the same as in the i7. So here's the trunk. And you can remember on the S580 video, the trunk was fairly shallow because the battery, remember the battery here is 14 versus 29 on the Mercedes. So Mercedes has twice the size of the battery. So that's why this is definitely deeper trunk than the Mercedes. But it might be a little bit narrower. You can see here, the depth does not go the full width of the trunk, but the trunk is bigger. Whether or not the double the size of the battery translates into the double the range, we'll tell you in a moment when we take you for a spin. So the final difference here on the gas car, on the plug-in hybrid, as we noticed, the plug for charging is on the front driver's side, and your flap, it's actually, you have to press a button to open it, but this is your gas fuel filler tank is on the rear, where in the fully electric model you have the charge port. Okay, so that's about it. Let's jump in and take you for a spin and give you our impressions and our statistics of our hypermile and highway driving. Okay, so here we are inside the 2024 750e plug-in hybrid BMW. It looks almost identical to the i760 that we drove inside, the same kind of screens. The menus are slightly different because this is a plug-in hybrid, so it has both a gas engine and an electric motor, which is located between the motor is located between transmission and the engine. So basically the electric motor also goes through the same gears that the engine goes through, which is an 8-speed automatic transmission. Okay, so what can we tell you about this car? So the modes are all here. And as with the plug-in hybrids, you have the different modes. You have the personal, the sport, efficient, expressive, relax, and digital art. Most of it is just visuals. but you have basically efficient and sport. Then personal, you can obviously personalize everything. The moment you touch the sport mode, the engine comes on, or if you touch any of those shift pedals are strictly for changing gears only. They do not serve the purpose of changing region like they do in the full electric version. So for now, we're gonna keep it in full electric. We'll keep it on efficient and go back to the consumption screen. And you can see that each mode changes the color. So right now it went into half beige and half blue. Of course, you can change that the ambient colors. They also repeat themselves in the door sills, both front and back as well. So let's go back to live vehicle. There we go. That's our consumption screen, and here of course it's showing a ridiculous amount because we've been sitting here talking with the car on, so it's showing a very high consumption. We'll tell you about our test results in a moment. So that's the kind of the difference. Of course, you can use in the efficient mode. The car will stay in all electric. Now, mind you, what you have to really watch for, it's different than the previous plug-in hybrids. Previous plug-in hybrids, there was a max EV mode, which really stayed in all electric almost no matter what. Here in this car, you can see on this power band here, you can see the blue range. The blue range is your electric range. The moment you push the car beyond what looks like around 60% of the power band, the engine will automatically come on, and that was our mistake. When you're in cruise control, when we were going on a test drive on the Hypermile, going up steep hills, the engine would still come on. So it kind of screwed up our calculations for the pure electric range and the consumption, because the engine would come on up steep hills, even though we were using side roads under 100 kilometers per hour. Still, the engine would come on under steep hills because the electric motor is not powerful enough to keep the speed up steep hills. So basically, if you really want to stay in pure electric, keep an eye on this blue band and don't push the car beyond the edge of the blue band. So in this way, you will stay in full electric at all times. All right, so that's about it. Let's take you for a quick spin. And we put it in sport mode. The engine came on. So this is the other thing. We were in drive. I pushed it again, and it went into sport mode, which turns on the engine. So here again, we put it in drive, and the engine, it'll take a while to turn off, unfortunately. So here we can go back to my modes. Okay, let's put it back. Let's put it back in efficient. And unfortunately, as with most plug-in hybrids, once you turn on the engine will stay on for a little while. We are now off-road on a grassy area, so we're going to hike up the suspension. The car is, of course, equipped with the air suspension, just like the i7s. So here we are in efficient. We can press the button to hike up the suspension a bit. Ground clearance, vehicle will be adjusted to high level. So to get out of this grassy area, I think the engine just turned itself off, which is good. So we're back in silent mode. And let's take you for a spin and tell you about our impressions. So basically, we have driven it in Hypermile mode from Toronto all the way to Georgian Bay to see how far we could push the 14 kilowatt-hour battery. If indeed this car would have half the range of the Mercedes S580. Again, the S580e has 29 kilowatt-hour total battery. Here, the size is half, 14, less than a half, 14.4 kilowatt-hours. So technically, the Mercedes rated range of 90 kilometers. This car has a rated range of 50. So basically, a little bit more than half of the Mercedes range. Even though the battery is half. So that shows you that the car is actually more efficient. And our test results indeed prove that. This car is much more efficient than the Mercedes. So what we were able to achieve on the road from Toronto to Georgian Bay was a total of 80 kilometers in pure electric mode. The consumption was around 18, between 16 to 18 kilowatt hours, which is way less than the Mercedes. So basically, because this car is much more efficient, even though it's a similar size, there is a weight difference, of course, because the battery on the Mercedes is double the size, so it's a heavier car. So the efficiency on this BMW is better than Mercedes. So 80 kilometers versus, if you remember our S580e video, or you can refer to that video, we were able to drive 95. So there's only a difference of 15 kilometers between the Mercedes and this BMW. And we did mention that in warmer weather, you could take the Mercedes over 100 kilometers. We're here. We already drove it in fairly warm weather, around 18 degrees. 15 to 18 degrees, so the conditions were pretty good. We did have a bit of a headwind heading north, and we're going uphill, of course, as well. So 80 is a very good result for a 14 kilowatt hour battery. That's a very good result. Only very small difference with the Mercedes. This car here is equipped with a total power of 483 horsepower versus the S580, which is over 500 horsepower. Now, the acceleration, official rated acceleration on the Mercedes is 4.3 seconds versus 4.8 on this car, even though so it's only basically half a second difference from 0 to 100. Now, to be more fair, we should be comparing the 760e with the Mercedes S580e, because that would be the equal power between the two cars and also the equal price. So again, this car is priced from the low 140s. The Mercedes S580 is from the low 160s. Once you go up to the 760, then they are equal. They both start in the 160s plus options. Okay, so let's try and throw it into the sport mode. So here again, we press on my modes, and let's throw it into the sport. And the seat is hugging you. The ambience turns red, as you can see. This car comes with the M package, so there's a few emblems on the car. There's one on the steering wheel here, little M. And you can see here the interior ambient lighting has turned into the M colors, the red and blue, which is kind of neat. So the engine is obviously on. And here in the middle, you have both the electric consumption and you have the gas consumption at the same time. So we'll try and kind of do it from start. It's gonna get noisy because obviously sport mode on a plug-in hybrid means using both. So let's try it, and let's use the boost. There you go, boost, 10 seconds. Yes, the boost works very well. You have 10 seconds of boost, and of course, a lot of noise associated with the 6-cylinder engine. So both the S580 and this car, they are both equipped with the 6-cylinder gas engines on top of the electric motors. So they are quite smooth in both cases. However, it really depends about your preference. This car is equipped with 4-wheel steering, just like the pure electric i760 we drove. The Mercedes comes with 2 different stages of 4-wheel steering. The base one is 5 degrees. They upgrade it, you can pay for 10 degrees. This car is equipped with 5-degree rear-wheel steering, which definitely helps with parking, maneuvering, etc., etc. So all in all, it really depends what your preference would be in terms of the styling. A lot of people are not crazy about this. Let's take it back into the efficient mode now. So my modes again, efficient. There you go. We go stealth and quiet. The Mercedes has an opening sunroof, where this is a fixed glass sunroof. They are both equipped with 4-wheel steering and air suspension, which you can adjust manually like we just did here. You can do the same on the Mercedes car. Even though the Mercedes has double the size of the battery, does not translate into double the range. So the difference in EV range in our hypermile exercise was very minimal, only 15 kilometers more on the Mercedes. So maybe if the conditions were the same, perhaps 20-kilometer range longer on the Mercedes that has double the size of the battery. But the BMW wins the efficiency race. It's definitely much more efficient. With the consumption under 20, well under 20 in hypermile exercise, where the Mercedes was always in the mid-20s, the consumption. So what I mean by that is around 25 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. That's the consumption. So the Mercedes consumes more because it's heavier. It has a much heavier and bigger battery. That's about it. Of course, this car is equipped just like the Mercedes, just like the pure electric BMW version of this, with the Assist Plus, which means full hands-free auto steer and adaptive cruise, which you activate through the buttons here on the left of the steering wheel. However, it only works on the 400 series highways. Also, it has the auto lane change. Now in the BMW, you have to activate the lane change. The Mercedes would do it all by itself when you approach a slower car. So there are many minute differences between the two. Both brands in certain jurisdictions are offering now a level 3 autonomy, which you can be basically distracted. Here in level 2, both Mercedes and BMW are watching you through the sensors here on the dashboard, which you can probably see through my phone. I cannot see it with the naked eye, but the camera on the phone can see those flashing purple lights here on the dashboard. They are watching you to make sure that you pay attention. Even if you're in the Assist Plus hands-free position of the autopilot system, you still have to pay attention. That will change with the level 3, but for now those level 3 systems are only offered in limited jurisdictions in Germany, some areas of Germany and California, and perhaps a couple of other ones. Oh, there's something on the road. Somebody lost something. Yeah, it looks like a truck lost something on the road. Anyway, so yeah, that's about it. So listen, guys, I really want you to think hard whether you prefer the Mercedes or the BMW, whether you want to go full electric or plug-in hybrid. Again, they're priced identical, so there's really no reason why you should be buying a pure gas car, where the plug-in hybrids and pure electrics are priced exactly the same. So people buying these luxury cars, luxury German cars, there's really no more excuses for you not to go at least plug-in hybrid, if not pure electric. Our preference in this particular case would have been to go with a pure electric. And the only reason why personally we would probably go with the Mercedes is only because of the opening sunroof. We really love our sunroofs to open, and that's one of the criteria that we use when picking our electric cars for our family fleet. So as you know, our Audis, both the old one and the new one, have an opening sunroof, as does the X5 plug-in of my wife, and all of our cars actually, except the i3, which doesn't have any sunroof whatsoever, because it wasn't offered when we bought our i3 8 years ago. We still have it in our family, as you know, but that's the only car that we have that doesn't have a sunroof at all. Okay, so that's about it. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions about this test, about this car, or the comparable cars that we just mentioned, please don't hesitate to comment under the video when we will try and answer your questions. And as usual, don't forget to press the subscribe button on our channel to be informed when the next video is coming. And we have lots and lots of other exciting plug-in hybrid and pure electric cars coming up for review. So stay tuned to our channel. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.